What is a dirty little or big secret about an industry that you have worked in that people outside the industry really ought to know? Starbucks corporate makes us have those recycling bins in the lobby to present this green image. But most of the time all of the garbage ends up going to the dump anyway because the facility doesn't have recycling. At stores, that magical back room where you can just go and pick up anything is actually a huge mess where things go missing all the time. Almost everyone in the TV and film industry is winging it. Businesses offer rebates rather than cash discounts because they know the odds of you going to the trouble of mailing in a rebate coupon are minimal. Then they don't pay the first time because they know the odds of you complaining about it are infinitesimal. But they usually will pay off if you complain. Half of technical support going on in the background of major platforms is convincing the developers to care about the issue enough to fix it. Also, every platform that interacts in any way with Facebook hates Facebook. Its soap's broken. I work with kids at a daycare and we see babies take their first steps sometimes, but we never tell the parents because we don't want them to feel bad about missing it. The official policy for customer dissatisfaction at a particular Canadian coffee franchise I worked at was offer them free stuff until they stop complaining. The amount of toilet paper, random items, and bills used as bookmarks that are left in returned library books. Terrible and illegal things go on in every strip club. Owners only hire people for upper management who they have trusted for years because they all know this. When renting a storage unit, you do not need to get the insurance they offer. Even if they say it's mandatory, it's illegal to force you to get insurance. Also, the rent will increase yearly, forever. Edit. For those asking, I'm in CA. Rules are different state to state. This comment wasn't about how the insurance offered is a scam, or how your home owner's insurance is far superior. From my experience, any type of home owner's or renter's insurance that people use for storage ends up screwing them. I just wanted people to be aware of the choices they have. Most subscription services will raise their prices over time because they expect you to just suck it up. This applies to phone bills, cable packages, internet service, insurance plans. Call up, politely complain about the price. Skip the canned well the price has gone up because inflation/rising costs/age/end of promotion, and continue to politely say it's too much. Your budget can't handle all year outgoings and you may need to drop service. Either you are speaking to someone who can reduce the price, or they can put you through to a person authorized to reduce the price. Being polite is key to this, though, as you don't want to be stonewalled by a jaded agent or otherwise sent into a transfer loop to nowhere useful. Unable to afford the service, found a cheaper deal with a competitor, or questioning what you're really getting for the service works wonders. Demands. Declarations of long-term loyalty read exactly the reason the company can raise the price on you, and disregard for those handling your call will serve to waste your time. Special bonus. If at first you don't succeed, call back tomorrow. Chances are you will get a different agent who may have a different approach. There ain't a company of any great size where everyone in customer service will give exactly the same response and assistance. Edit. As some have pointed out, insurance with a capital I may not work out this way for you, but insurance cover can. YMMV. Funeral homes are businesses, and funeral directors will absolutely take advantage of grieving people. The most offensive to me are the cremation boxes. They are literally just big cardboard boxes, and should cost less than $100. But they also make really expensive boxes, and directors will say things like grandma would be more comfortable in this. No, she won't, because she's dead. Some of these boxes reach $1,000, and of course they're all just burned. A used car is priced based on what it will, but the margin is calculated by how deep they are into it. So if a car was just traded in, and they haven't detailed it or advertised it, yet you can pay thousands less if you ask. And so e-car dealerships have reward systems based on numbers for the salesman and the dealer and management, so if you are there at the end of the month you can sometimes get a screaming good deal, because even at zero profit, the sale bumps them up to a big bonus. Mobile homes are cheaply made and mass produced by people making $9 an hour and don't give ups if it's up to code or safe. Hundreds of people in a factory with little supervision, and the main goal is to get as many made as possible, with little care to protocol, codes and fire stopping. I got hired as a HUD admin, Ended up doing inspections so we could stop getting fined by the fire marshal, and the amount of crap that is overlooked and not cared about is infuriating. ETA. Mobile homes as in manufactured homes. Single wides. Double wides. ECT. Anywhere from 50k up to 150k at this particular factory. It's hard for the employees to care when the plant manager doesn't. The more that roll out, the more money he makes. His idea was to roll as many out as possible. Take a huge bonus. Let the company eat the fines when the fire marshal caught something. They don't check every home, and if you got a house with the furnace not fire stopped, oh well. Other academics will steal your work for themselves and publish it under their name. Edit. Grammar. The cooks do all the drugs and always have the best drugs too. In academia, you create content for privately owned journals like Science and Nature, but still you have to pay them. Also, scientists who review journals articles for the peer review process do it for free. If you don't participate in this process, you can't get papers, and if you don't have papers you don't get funding, and subsequently starve and die. Edit. Thanks for the silver. I'm in fact a starving academic, so it helps. I don't know that this is a secret, but flight attendants and pilots don't get paid while boarding, deplaning, and delays. So when you're delayed and angry, so are we. We are not making money and still have to be there. I worked at a game store a couple years ago, and the lowest we could give for a trade-in was 10 cents. As everyone knows, when you trade a game in, you're getting way less than you paid, and way less than what it would be sold for. Well, for the Nintendo Wii systems, the way the pose was set up, if someone came to trade in the system itself without any controllers or cables, they would get 10 cents. Not quite a secret. But honestly, it's worth just keeping your systems and playing with them again on 5 years when you miss the game. At a hospital, the straight cash price discount for many outpatient tests, MRI, court, X-ray, ultrasound, labs, etc., can often be cheaper than using insurance and dealing with deductibles, copays, co-insurance, and on and on. I've seen tests billed for thousands of dollars to insurance cost a cash paying patient less than $400. It's insane. I'm just looking through the comments to find an employee of Big Glitter. I just wanna know. Daycare workers say rude things about your family, usually just the parents and not the kids. People always joke that most psychologists become psychologists because they are crazy. I've worked in close proximity to a bunch of forensic psychs for the last few years. It is true. I make super expensive stuff that is bought by several governments and some high-end consumer product manufacturers. One of the machines that every bit of product has to go through only works right if you stand there and poke at it with a stick. We don't even have a special stick. It's just a metal rod that fell off of another piece of equipment that we wrapped some tape around to make a handle. We always make the new guy do it because it is super boring. In a call center, there are lines where management can listen to the customer while he/she is navigating the phone tree or waiting on hold. It's used for quality control. We hear every line of profanity, racist/sexist remark, and muttered expletive. Also, many live chat sessions allow the associate to see you typing in lip time. A lot of horrible things get typed out, then redacted before pressing send. Engaging with customer service brings out the worst in people, especially when they think it's in private. Is this question covered by the Whistleblower Act? Asking for a friend. Almost every registered nurse has what is called a blacklist of doctors she or he would not want even remotely near them should they need emergency services. People need to take better care and precaution of who they choose to accept as their doctor. Credit companies will raise your interest rate for no reason and wait for you to call and complain to get it lowered. Check your statements and review all notices that come with your bill. Edit. 1. I'm not talking about prime acts. I'm talking about accounts with a specific, declared interest rate. 2. Yes, not carrying a balance will mean you won't have to pay an interest charge. But was what are some dirty secrets that others should know about? Not how do I save money on my credit card. Regardless of whether or not you carry a balance, you should make sure they're not raising your interest rate arbitrarily. There may come a time when you have to carry a balance because of some major catastrophe you have to deal with. This prevents you from paying that higher rate. Hotels are held together by more superglue and duct tape than you know. Doesn't matter how nice they are, unless you're talking about ultra rich type places. The comforters in hotel rooms almost never get washed. They are nasty. I'm a Romanian who has worked for a US military contractor. The dot doesn't care about the price of the things the military is buying. I once sold a bag of 240 hex nuts for $9,000. It's not a typo, which I got for $25. The spending the dot does is really as bad as you might have heard of. The more they spend, the better. It is actually scary how much money they throw away. I worked at a Dairy Queen when I was 16 and found roaches. I got fired because I was too slow when I was cleaning, when in reality I was actually scrubbing p's down because everyone else half-assed it. That being said, don't go to Dairy Queen. In an auto shop, what your mechanic tells you may not be in your best interest, but instead what is most convenient, and what is the least amount of work to do. Edit. Added italics onto May. Hospitals are not clean. The only really clean place in a hospital is the operating room. Other than that, the place is crawling with germs and whatever else has mutated on the floors and walls. Audiobook narrators are woefully underpaid. We are some of the only recording artists who do not receive royalties for our work, and in fact our wages went down by about 66% when Audible renegotiated the AFTRA contract 10 years ago. 66%. The rates have been going up incrementally since then, but narrators are still treated very poorly. Many of us now record our own work. In addition to being a narrator, I'm also the director, engineer, and researcher on nearly every book I work on, but no credit is given to me other than for narration, and I have to fight to get more money than I would get for just narrating a book. In addition, narrators are expected to promote the books they've recorded themselves. Despite the fact that we get no residuals, in other words, we don't get any of the revenue from the audiobook sales, just a flat fee up front. A while ago, a very popular author wrote to me to congratulate me on the fact that the latest book of his that I'd narrated was the #1 best-selling audiobook on Audible. Thanks, I said, but that means nothing to me because I don't get a dime from sales. He was shocked. Narrating audiobooks is often difficult and usually tedious work that requires an exhausting amount of focus. The industry continues to grow in leaps and bounds. It is only fair that the co-creators of this work receive their just due. Huawei takes employees' pay for mistakes made. I had a company-wide corrective email sent to me with a picture of the guy that messed up, his team leader and the line manager, a description of what they did wrong, some security issue, like sharing a password, if I remember correctly, as well as the fact that 1 month's pay has been taken from each of them. If you call customer service and the representative does a great job, and you want to compliment them, please ask for a supervisor specifically. If you say you want to make sure we are rewarded for good service, but don't explicitly say you want to talk to someone about it, we can't direct you to doing so. And when you talk to a supervisor for compliments, it really does help improve customer service. Those calls are more likely to be used for training new reps, and complimented reps get raises too. Everything is held together with duct tape and baling wire. Hermit crabs as pets is actually incredibly cruel because they rarely breed in captivity, so they have to be taken from the wild. Then they get their natural shells broken away from them so that they will be forced to adopt colorful man-made shells in hopes kids find them more attractive. Doctors spend so much time in their specific niche that they know jacks about anything else. Some bars actually task bartenders with stock rates of 104% minus 110%. This basically means that with every pour that should be 25 milliliters to 50 milliliters, they actually tell you to underpour on every drink to ensure we're actually making back stock on every purchase. This also means some bartenders are instructed to make more head on beers by swelling the glass or intentionally holding it so more head is produced, saving more stock. I started a job that told me this and quit the next day. Animator here. It's coming more and more to light lately, but big animation studios and game companies treat their employees like apes and pay them barely anything and expect them to work hard because of the love for the job. And they can get away with that because there are hundreds of thousands of other creatives who would be more than happy to deal with all of the BS just for a chance to work at a AAA studio. Really, it's not just animation though. The entire entertainment industry is this way.